Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM, you're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are ready to talk local with us today. We are here. We're gonna have a couple of guests. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of things coming up. The weather stinks right now. I'm not gonna lie. I am sick and tired of the dreariness. I am ready for summer. And for those of you out there who are ready for snow, I don't care. I don't want it. I want it to be nice and warm and pleasant. It is not pleasant outside today. I stepped in a big old dirt pile out in Woody's parking lot, and I was like, God, Woody.
It's all my fault.
I mean, you need to be out there
it's my fault.
raking the driveway.
My fault. It's raining. It's my fault. It's muddy.
You're in here producing. What's going on?
I know.
So,
what the heck is that, right?
Yeah, right. So, well, hey, if you're out about today, lunch, Porterhouse Catering and Barbecue is at our office, 805 Berks Hill Road, right up the street. He's got some great chicken barbecue and regular pork barbecue. And while you're at it, stop into All Things Local. We got our shop going, so we got some new vendors in there, and we've actually added a second room of things because we've had so many people bring stuff. And I even posted a picture today. Got good old Grover. Yeah,
is he hanging out over there?
Grover was hanging out. We had one of our artisans brought over a whole thing of crocheted animals. Super cute. My daughter already bought one. Or I bought one, let's just say. My daughter didn't buy nothing. She ain't got no money. But she already got me to buy her one. But yeah, Grover it was like a little ET. It's like where you can find Grover and all the stuffed animals. So yeah, we stuck him in there. We're getting ready to start up a little series called Grover Around Town.
Yes.
And we're going to be taking Grover with us to meet businesses and check in and do, that's Grover. Grover's the otter. Jeremy's here with Tax Resolution Accounting. Hello. How are you?
Hey.
So
He's
you can actually just chime in whenever we're talking. Don't feel like you ain't got to wait till your segment. We can just chat, man.
Sure
yeah, that's Grover. He is the mascot
he's on the
Grove
TV right
Street
now.
FM. And he's cute. And I got a little plush Grover that we're going to be taking around.
Okay.
So it's going to be Grover on the town with the CVABC. So
downtown,
all over, all the towns, every town we visit. I mean, I may even take him.
Grover gets around. I'm just gonna say.
All right, look, I don't know if you want to say that.
Well, you know what he does.
Let's keep Grover respectable, please.
I don't follow him in his personal time. He comes to work on time. He does what I ask, and that's all I care about.
I'm thinking about taking Grover with me to Charleston this weekend. I think he might want a road trip.
Keep an eye on him.
He wants a paycheck.
He road trip it with me.
Keep an eye on him.
So yeah, my daughter's got a gymnastics tournament in Charleston, so we're gonna be heading. I'm gonna be going down there for the first time ever. So I'm excited.
In Charleston?
Yeah, I've never been to Charleston before.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So I'm heading to Charleston and looking to do some fun things, but then I'm also going to be stuck in a gym watching gymnastics for 5 hours, which, I appreciate the sport. I like it. I'm a huge competitor. I think I've talked about this before. I'm competitive, to the umpth degree. I can't yell at gymnastics. I can't yell at people. And I can't get happy if somebody falls off. That ain't my kid. I have to keep a level of,
Well, you could, but.
I mean, that'd just be disrespectful. But, obviously now it's when my son wrestled, I was that mom that was on the mat yelling at people and, all those things. And then, oh yeah. You should see, I've got videos. You can hear me yelling. I'm one of those people. And then, softball, I used to coach softball and I yell at, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, my daughter. So funny story, but I'll just talk about this. And I know this is completely off tangent. We're not even supposed to be talking about this today, but I was my daughter's coach one year, and my oldest daughter, Autumn, who y'all hear on the show a lot. And they were tossing the ball back and forth. So I threw the ball to her. Well, she made the mistake. Okay, let's just put it out there. It was her fault. I still to this day maintain it because you never put your hand in the glove before the ball gets there. Ever. Never, ever. Doesn't happen. Well, she did. And so the ball hit her in the hand, and she was like, "Oh, I think I broke it." I went over there and looked at it. I was like, it was a little red. I was like, "Suck it up, you're fine. You got to play. We got to play." Played the whole game. Thing was broken 2 places.
Oh, good Lord!
we found it out the next day. I felt horrible.
Wow.
But she will tell you.
Suck it up.
Yeah, I did. I straight up told her. I was like, "Suck it up, get out there," because she was my center fielder. I needed her. So, but I am that mom. So I'm sorry.
No sympathy.
That's
No mercy.
probably why my youngest daughter
No
did
mercy, strike
gymnastics
first.
because she knew I couldn't yell, nor could I coach it.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought? Who would have thought listening to me or knowing me that I was competitive? Anyone? No? Okay,
No.
great. So I wanted to really quickly, before we get into talking with Jeremy and letting you guys
About
know
boring
who
stuff.
he is. It ain't boring. It's tax season,
Taxes
man.
is
I'm excited.
boring.
Man, this is like the Super Bowl of taxes right now.
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm talking about. Everyone needs to know
Yeah,
what they need to know. And Jeremy is in the know. So we're going to talk to him
It can
about
put
all
you to
those
sleep
things.
a little bit. You
Well,
get too deep.
If you get too deep, put the sleeper on you. But I do want to mention, because we talk local to businesses, we want to talk about local events. We do have something I think is pretty cool coming up on February the 11th, and the Central Virginia Business Coalition is really proud, I would say, to be helping coordinate this event. But the Bedford Boys Tribute Center is announcing a welcome home parade. And that will be taking place on February the 11th at 11 a.m. And I'm just going to read a quick press release. Well, it ain't that quick, but we're gonna try and be quick about the event, because I want everyone to kind of know and come out and support what's happening. So, Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 116th Infantry Brigade Combat Team of the 29th Infantry Division will be given a welcome home parade by the Bedford Boys Tribute Center in historic downtown Bedford. The parade route will start from the parking lot of Liberty Station Restaurant, proceed east on Bedford Avenue, up through Bridge Street, Main Street, where Green's Drugstore is. That will then turn on East Main and end at the steps of the Bedford County Courthouse. So on November 27th, 2021, Alpha Company left Bedford on a 1-year out-of-country deployment as part of Operation Red Dragon in support of the Combined Joint Task Force to the Horn of Africa. Ironically, on February 18th, 1941, 82 years ago, our own Bedford Boys of Company A left home with a thrilling farewell parade on East Main Street led by the well-known Bedford Firemen's Band. So, performing on the steps of the county courthouse for all the spectators will be the military medley music of the 29th Infantry Division Band. Greeting the returning soldiers will be Ken and Linda Parker, founders of the Bedford Boys Tribute Center, the town of Bedford Mayor Tim Black, President of the National D-Day Memorial, April Cheek Messier, and the Commanding General of the 29th Infantry Division, Major General John M. Rhodes. So we're asking everyone to show up and support the soldiers on February the 11th. We're going to be passing out flags to everyone. You're going to get to hear the infantry band. You're going to get to hear some great speakers. You're going to get to support. The really cool thing about this is that the town of Bedford is the only town in the Commonwealth of Virginia that is hosting a welcome home parade to any returning troop from deployment. So it's a pretty big deal.
Bedford. Good job.
That's right. It's a pretty big deal. So come out and support. Like I said, the CVABC, we have helped to coordinate the parade and the logistics. And so we've been really proud to be a part of it. And, come out and, your patriotic best. And we'll have some floats and you'll get to see, the troops and a lot of cool things. So put it on your calendars. Right now.
Right.
Right now.
Right this second.
Right now.
If you didn't, just 2 seconds ago, do it now. So, Jeremy. What's up? So,
What's going on?
he said Heather. So we're going to talk about taxes.
Yeah.
I said that. I'm going to say this is exciting. We're going to talk about taxes. I'm so excited.
And I'm like, yay.
Yeah. This is
Nah, I'm just playing.
No. So, okay. So first of all, tell everybody who you are. Tell us about your business. Tell us what you do. Tell us all your business. No, I'm just kidding. No, tell us about your business. I don't need to know about.
You're dirty or clean?
No. Hey, this is talk local to me.
Okay. Look.
No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah.
Heather, yeah. Anyways. So, yeah, I just want to tell y'all a little bit about me so you can understand what value I can bring. So, essentially, my name is Jeremy Lassiter, and I am local to Lynchburg. Born and raised, pretty much I grew up in Restburg and I live in Lynchburg. Married, 2 children, son's 11, daughter's 9. And I've been married for 13 years.
Congratulations. I feel like that needs to be a congratulations nowadays.
Is. True, I'm telling you, 13.
I know, right?
I commend anybody can hang in there. So.
I even told my husband today, I called him right before the show. I said, hey, I'm getting ready. I said, I have to ask you a quick question because I'm going to the show you don't listen to because he doesn't listen to the show. He's
Yeah.
like, I listened to 2. I said, no. See, that's what I
Right.
put up with.
Yeah,
There
because
you
you
go.
want some support, right?
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
It's
anyway,
like, can you just show me some support? You know,
yes.
but I know what you mean. But that's part of that marriage life.
Yep.
So but anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to tell you that. I went to Liberty University. I graduated with a finance degree. Came out, could not find a job because in Lynchburg it's too small, and all the jobs were filled up. So if you can feel my pain on that, you know what I'm talking about. So I thought I knew what I was doing. Came out, didn't know what I was doing. Came out and I said, I want to get in accounting. Well, nobody would give me a job. So how do you get a job if you don't have nothing on your resume? I don't know the answer to that. Sorry. I guess they call that catch-22.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a tax course. It's in accounting. That's the entry level to accounting. I was like, let me start in taxes. I got a job at Liberty Tax.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna stop you right there. So your thought was, I'm just gonna go do math, do some taxes.
Yes.
Okay, I just needed to know where your head was.
I did not.
I need to know
this
because
knowing I
for
was
me
doing
it'd have been
taxes.
like, I'm gonna go. I don't know. It wouldn't have been that.
Yeah.
But I don't like math. So.
I was seeking for opportunity and it just was not finding one.
Gotcha.
College students, I know what you're talking. I feel your pain.
Okay. All right. All right. So you went to some classes.
Yep. I went to Liberty Tax, took a course there, and then I did a season there. I was the top person there. And so I pretty much was working full time there. And then I just said, hey, I'm gonna do this on my own. So I did. Next year I did it on my own. And then 2016 come, I launch out into my business, which is tax resolution accounting full time. And anybody who has started a business from the ground up, you know the pains that come with it,
right?
Especially when you have no money. So, and you're taking care of a family. So, but it's good though. And I thank God that I went through all of it because I am the person who I am and I'm smiling today. There's days I don't feel like smiling, but I love my life. So pretty much while I was working a full-time job, I was working on getting certified. So I became an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is someone who is licensed, federally licensed with the IRS, and you can represent on all levels administrative wise, not in the court, just administrative. So I'm not a tax attorney. I'm licensed with the IRS. They call it enrolled agent.
Okay.
There's only 3 people that can do that: CPAs, tax attorneys, and EAs.
Okay.
Okay. And then after that, I went through, because you know every professional has I guess what you call a label out there. They have a association that you can join. So the association I joined is called NAEA, National Association of Enrolled Agents. Well, inside of there, they have like another level of tax knowledge. So it's called NTPI, National Tax Practice Institute. I went through that, cost me $15,000. But it's another level of tax. So I wouldn't consider myself just the average Joe tax person. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just telling you that from the education. So anybody who has spent plenty of money on their field, they're pretty proud in what they do.
Yeah, because you say $15,000 in my mouth. I said, what?
That's just that. That was just on that. I spent more than that on this.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to you. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So pretty much, which brings me here today. Just want to give you guys a little background. You're not talking to an average. Do I know everything? Nope. I don't know everything. I do not. But I can definitely direct you and been taught how to research very well. Just like any professional. Nobody knows everything. Yeah. Nobody.
So what you're saying is I didn't just pull you from like the H&R Block,
no.
Cubicle at the mall or wherever they pop up at.
Yeah. Now, and I ain't talking about none of them franchise.
No, I ain't saying they're bad. I'm just saying like you have a lot of experience. I know some people do have those agents and they get licensed right then and they just don't have as much experience with it, is where I'm trying to say. It's seasonally. I ain't knocking H&R Block or any of the other
there
places.
Are some people in H&R Block. I would probably say H&R Block is probably the top franchise out there that brings in quality people. And there are some CPAs that work for them
Mhm.
and some EAs that do. So,
Right.
kudos to them.
Yeah, I
They
mean, we'll
put
talk
in
local
work.
about y'all too. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But for the ones who try to act like they put in work and they have not, they said they got 10 years of experience, but it's
Ooh, you calling them out.
part-time, seasonal. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you
Weird.
know something, but you haven't been through what I've been through. So
That was
there-
me trying to
there's
do like my taxes, my kids' taxes last year.
yeah.
My kid's like, "You got them done?" I'm like, "No, I got other things to do. Take them somewhere else."
there is a difference. So I just want to make sure that that's properly explained, because some people think I'm just a regular tax person. They're like, "Oh, you do taxes?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's like, you don't know what I know though. So
Right.
so essentially, so let's go into the services and what we offer. So
Hmm.
essentially, we do tax prep on all levels. And it's 1040 with the form is called a 1040 individual tax prep. Whether you have stocks, crypto, we do that on that level. You have farm, we do those. You have rental properties, buy and holds. Fix and flips. Selling properties, even your own residence, tax credits. You have a Schedule C LLC, which you are considered a sole proprietor. We do those,
Hmm.
and pretty much all the schedules that are on there, we handle all those.
Yeah.
Capital gains.
Correct
So
me if I'm wrong. You're going to be on the show with me a couple more times in the next
yeah,
month.
I just went
So,
crazy, and I
feel
went out
like,
there.
I mean, we're just gonna be friends for a good month or so
I
now.
think so. I think I went a little crazy on that.
Yeah,
was
I
just
mean,
like,
you look at your schedule, but
Yeah.
I think the good thing is that like you were saying, taxes, it's not just a one and done type thing. There's so many different levels to taxes, and right now people, they want to learn, they want to know what to do. You and I have had some good conversations about the W-2s and the W-4, all
Oh,
those
yeah.
things, especially the W-4s that you have to do when you get a job, and those have changed up significantly, and we'll talk about that, I guess, another time. But I think there's a lot of things that people don't know on their end about taxes. They just hand it off to someone else, and there it goes.
Yeah,
So
and
it's good to know. It's always good to know.
And another thing, Heather, is some people, they're kind of scared to ask a professional because they don't want to seem stupid.
Yeah, right. No, I
they don't
agree.
want to seem like they're just dumb. They
Yeah.
don't know. But I don't consider people dumb. That's why I'm in the profession and you're not.
Right.
You're good at what you do. So,
Yeah.
however, and then also, we have the internet out there that has every answer in the world that you can imagine, but it don't provide understanding.
Mhm.
Like the other day, I'm trying to set up the family link on that Google provides for the family sharing to keep my son from watching stuff.
Mhm.
And I got it set up for 2 other devices, but it seems like there's one device, he got a cell phone. And I'm reading through the stuff. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. It's telling me I can't supervise this. I'm like, and I done read it 1,000 times. And I know somebody else can probably go in there and look at it and be like, oh, it's done. Because they just know Google like that.
Absolutely.
So that's the same way with taxes. So you can read a bunch of stuff on the internet and you can be somewhat informed, but at the end of the day, if you want that peace of mind, people try to reach out to the professional to get that. So
Now you also work and I feel like I think did I cut you off? Did you have other things you had to say about what y'all did? Because I feel like I cut you off with.
oh, you're
something.
fine. I'll get back in there.
Okay,
There's no
cool.
problem.
So, but I know y'all
Because
also
it gets
do
boring
some
after a
cleanup.
while. You need to switch it.
Yeah, because I know y'all do some cleanup stuff, like with
Cleanup?
taxes.
Like sweeping the floor?
No, like. You know what? I'm gonna leave the show. I'll let Jeremy finish it. No, but like if somebody owes taxes, or like you can go in and help with things like that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And
Yeah, so like there's some people out there. Like I had this one guy, he's from Bedford actually, Forest, and he walked in the other day, and I'm not saying your name. If he's just listening, but I get all types of clients like this. But he was scared to go talk to someone because some people want to deal with somebody local. They don't want the national people, so. They didn't even know that I existed. So just trying to get my name out there so people know, that there's somebody out there that is likable,
Well, I think the IRS is a scary three-letter word for anyone. Like, you hear IRS and you get nervous, whether it's the good news, like whether you're getting money
Yeah.
or whether you feel like you owe money. And then, I've known people who owe money and they just put it off, and they get those, I'm gonna take your house, or I'm gonna,
Yeah.
do this. And then they want to know, like, oh, now I'm nervous. And honestly, I would say the last couple of years have been crazy because the IRS has been kind of not really on a standstill, but they haven't had as many workers and stuff. They kind of stopped pursuing debt to some degree, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a little crazy. So now they're kind of back at it.
Yep. Oh, they back at it now.
And
Yeah.
you still can't get a hold of them for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, don't call. I mean, do you have a special number?
Yes.
Just, can I have it?
Mm.
No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just
With my
saying, like,
license, yeah.
it's it is scary to someone who just is trying to do their own taxes, or they're trying to figure out what to do, because it's kind of a scary word.
It is.
honestly.
It is scary. It is scary. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm in the profession. It is scary, but I'm just frank. I don't like the IRS. I really don't. I can tell you. I feel like they're crooks. They're robbers. They're bandits. They're thieves.
I almost did a really corny joke right there, but I'm
Say
not
it.
even gonna say I thought
Say
you
it,
were
say it, say it,
Jeremy.
say it, say it,
Because
say
you
it,
said
say it.
I'm just Frank. I was gonna be like, I thought you were Jeremy. I gotta go.
That is corny.
But
Oh my
all right, we're into today. We're done. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anyway, so I don't like them. So that's why I work for them, but against them.
Mhm.
But they need my help anyways, because they need help resolving stuff anyways. So I try to work with the people, not the IRS.
Mhm.
So, but they do provide free advertising. So, but anyways, on the so that's just one side of it, and we call that tax resolution. If you got a small business and you're behind on your bookkeeping, we catch you up. You're back in your taxes, we catch you up. Like, I know all the ins and outs and what the IRS will allow. I cannot predict whether you'll get audited or not. No one can do that. I've had some situations where, people got audited and they thought it was my fault, but I cannot predict that. And but if you do get audited, I do provide good advice to help lower the liability of what will come from that audit.
Mhm.
And so then also too, so back to the, I was going to say something and you was,
What'd I do?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I messed you up. When
I know what it is. All right, I know what it is. We was talking about how the IRS is scary.
They are scary.
They're scary.
Okay.
But I'm not scared of them. Like, I don't know. I guess because when you have enough knowledge about
Right.
your enemy, you're not really as scared of them.
Mhm.
It's just like your little kid. They don't know much about the world, but you know more about it, so you're not as scared of the world as they are.
Right.
So anyway, what my point I was going to make was, I kind of look at the IRS like I'm David. David in the Bible. You know the Bible, right?
I do.
Yeah, David, the guy that was in the backside of the.
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Yep.
He had like 7 brothers, and
Yep.
the prophet came and was looking for David, but didn't even know where he was at. He saw all the brothers
Yeah.
and looking for a son. He's like, nope, that's not him. And then he's like, you got any more sons? And he's like, yeah, that little scrawny one out there on the desert. Everyone knows David is the one that defeated Goliath.
Right.
And I look at the IRS as Goliath, and I defeat the IRS all the time.
I feel like we should have like cheering sounds going on right now. Like, I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. So
Like,
I mean,
ooh, ooh,
yeah,
that
that's
sort of
right.
thing, like
Ooh,
pumping your arm. Yeah.
that's right. But that's what I do. I mean, I defeat the IRS for you because you may be scared of them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So I know how to.
I like it.
Yeah, cool. So, but again, we do tax. I mean, so back to it. We stopped at the LLC. So you got single member LLC, that means one owner. Then you got multi-member, which can be 2 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So we deal with those, partnerships,
Right.
which are the 1065 forms, and then you got the corporations, and then you got the S corp and the C corp. So we handle all sides of those, and one thing I've just noticed just from I've been doing taxes for almost 20 years, and then I've been in customer service for over 25 years. So
Mhm.
it's just like, I know how to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not bragging, but it's just, I think other people can just tell when you talk to them, and, that they're being taken care of. I have a lot of people that I talk to, they walk out the office, hey, I feel so much better. I got to talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
because they had these things like nagging at them for so long.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with you on that. And I've said that multiple times, that relationships are very much important in the business world. Like, you can have all the knowledge you want, but if you can't convey it in a way that makes other people feel that that you're actually in it for them, that you care about them,
Yeah.
it doesn't help. So if you're making your clients feel that they're being supported and that you truly hear them, that's the thing. Like, you truly hear what they're saying, you truly know what they need. That really is important.
Yeah, I remember when I first started business. I feel like in business there's levels on every level that you deal with in anything you deal with, but like especially in business. When I first got into business, most business owners are motivated to get in business because they're trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
That will never leave. But what does leave, what does happen is that moves on down near the bottom, and then your customer service needs to rise up. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
people that start separating themselves. So I just feel like that's what I'm different in my company setup is different because I'm past all the part where I'm about taking your money. I'll take your money, but I'm not about that anymore.
Right.
I'm about how can I serve you? I'm
Right.
about service now. It's about I'm because a lot of people can say that there's something, but their true self shows after a while. You start getting in and things just don't make sense. Like why?
Mm-hmm.
And you got all these questions about why they're doing this, why is this happening? Clear communication means everything, like kind of like what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know, we were talking, we wanted to talk today. We want people to kind of get to know you and, what your business is and who you deal with. And then we're going to kind of dive deeper into the taxes in different podcasts.
Yes.
And I will say to anyone who's out there listening, whether you're listening live right now, whether you download the episode in the next couple days and you listen to it, apparently not my husband, but anyone else who does, if you have a question, like let's say you have a generalized tax question that you may want me to ask Jeremy in the next few weeks, you can email that over to me, Heather at CVABC.org. And I can get with Jeremy ahead of time and, we can kind of get it discussed on the air for you. And then we can also, you can also check out we have a Talk Local to Me Facebook page. So you can always message us on there. You can go to the GroveStreet.fm app and find the Talk Local to Me page on there. And there is a section on there where it says, do you want to be on the podcast? You can go on there and ask a question as well. Or if you just want to be on the podcast, you can, let us know that too. But this way, I mean, it would be nice to be able to ask a few things that we know our listeners may be wanting to know about this upcoming tax season, or things that maybe you've already filed your taxes and you owe money and you're trying to figure out what do you need to change on your W-4 to where that's not happening next year, or things like that. Like, let us know.
Yeah. Another thing, I know we're probably wrapping it up
In a minute.
Okay,
I'm just
all right.
saying.
I just feel that vibe.
When I start talking about just
You start leaving the information.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to leave them with this. Kind of what you just said, piggybacking off of that. We also help offer tax planning strategies for more the high income earners or small business owners. They're making money, they don't know what to do with the money, and then they're just tired of paying so much to the IRS. Now, I've met some people who love paying the IRS. It makes them feel comfortable because they know if they pay them, they won't mess with them. Now, I don't really agree with that logic, but
what?
Yes, I'm
That
telling
don't even make
you,
no sense, Jeremy.
it's out there. You would
Frank,
think a lot.
whoever you are.
Yes, Frank. Yeah,
Yeah.
Call me Frank because I'm Frank.
So are you trying to say they pay them more during the year so that
No.
or just paying them at
the
tax
end of the
time?
year, yeah, they might owe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and they don't mind paying it because they know that it'll keep the IRS from them. So all that kind of
$200. I'm trying to figure out how do I make it 150?
But there are some out there that's like, hey, I'm tired of paying $20,000 every year. I want to know how I can stop doing this. Well, we got the strategies for that too. So
Okay.
just wanted to leave everybody with that.
Yeah. No, that's good to know. And like I said, Jeremy is a wealth of information when it comes to taxes, and I've learned in the last couple weeks talking with him just a lot of really good things that I'm excited to kind of let our listeners know about. So, thank you for coming on with me today and having you in the future. Now, if anyone's listening and just wants to call Jeremy themselves, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, office number is 434-338-7149. Also, you can just check us out on our website. It's www.taxresolutionaccounting.com, and we're on we mainly deal Facebook and LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want you to know I did not fall asleep. It was a good
Really?
segment. Yeah, see, I'm over here. I'm still awake.
Now, see, you saying that to me face to face as soon as I leave.
Oh, I'm a
Oh.
gosh.
You're gonna say?
I mean, you can feel
what's your
free.
name?
You can feel free to stay
Mike.
for the rest
Mike.
of the segment. We're getting ready to talk with Mike over here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you don't have to leave.
Okay,
You can hang out.
all right. Okay,
We
I'm
don't
just
kick you
saying.
out. We don't kick you out the room. You can stay.
All right. I'm gonna make sure.
I mean, if you got somewhere to go, you can. But I'm just saying, you can make sure I don't talk about you. You know, you can download the episode.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but thank you. Seriously though, thank you for coming in and talking with me today. And you know, Jeremy has been a member of the Central Virginia Business Coalition for a while. His organization is also a sponsor of ours. So, you know, dealing with them has always been it's been a lot of fun. He's fun to work with. So appreciate
I'm a
it.
kid at heart.
Yeah. So we're gonna we're going to talk with you brought up David, but we're gonna be talking to Chaplain Mike Smith with Covered, and we've talked a little bit about Covered before. If y'all listened into the show last week, we actually spoke with him at our live broadcast because he was over at the coffee talk, but we want to learn more about Covered. It was only a real short little segment and what you do, and I find it ironic in a way, quite honestly, and I think you probably know what I'm going to say, but I found it ironic that you were the last person we spoke with, and then immediately as you had to leave, we get the call in that local business, Sister to Sister Catering here in Bedford, was on fire, which basically the whole room just went silent, and just everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like we've got to go." And then, you know, a few hours later, I start seeing pictures, and who do I see? First pictures I start seeing is you. I mean, you were straight there, and there was pictures of you there already talking with the first responders, and you know, being there for them. And so I thought that was just really, it was really great to kind of see you talked about it, and then you went and did it. Like it was kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
it was a little crazy.
I don't mess around.
Yeah.
What I do is what I do.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about, you know, what you do with Covered.
Well, first of all, I want to be thankful to hear about some tax information because, you know, as a nonprofit organization, it puts my ears up, and I kind of listen out a little bit. And as a minister for 20 years, taxes for us are kind of weird anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just kind of keep your ears up going, I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
But as Covered organization is, and I explained earlier kind of what we are yesterday or last week. But Covered is a nonprofit organization, is a 501c3. It is mainly focused on supporting three parts of our community. First is the first responders.
Mm-hmm.
Second is their family. Third is the community. And so what you saw on that day was community involvement, first responder involvement. So when I got there, I mean, literally, I left.
Yeah.
As I was going, I found out about it.
I think three of y'all all had to have hit it out because you were here. Woody left because he had to go because of the town, and then Chris. We have Chris Morris here with us, guys. I'm sorry, I haven't even. He's over here. But you know, you left immediately as well. So you know, it was like, boom, we gotta. Roll.
It was a reunion. That's what it was.
Yeah, we just took coffee talk down.
So being there, having an opportunity to engage with the men and women of our first responders there, because the police, fire, and rescue were there, and to be able to talk with sister, they're good folks there,
Mm-hmm.
and to pray with them and just support them, because you know, thank the Lord, you know, nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
But losing a business is like a loss. You know, when you put all your life into it and you watch it go up in flames,
right,
and you can't do anything and you're helpless, you know, having that ability to just console and listen to them and pray with them is very important. So to be able to be there and be helpful in that aspect is what Covered's about.
Right.
Covered's about making sure that our first responders have the peace and mental wellness to do their job, their support to do their job, and the community members who are affected by a crisis that happens have someone to reach out to, because sometimes we don't. I mean, I know sister has their connections in their church and their connections, but every little bit more always helps.
Right.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
to be able to be that support for the community and support them and pray with them was a beautiful thing. But that's just one of hundreds of things that have come about in the last several years. I've been doing this for 17 years as a police chaplain. So I've done it in, bigger cities like Roanoke and in Bedford here. It's a little bit more, they're a little tighter knit community. So when I get a call from the sheriff's office, I'm going to run across fire and rescue from all over and even the town in many ways.
Right.
I get a call from the town, 5 out of 10 says I run into the sheriff's office and the state police. And they all know me. So, they, they when I'm walking by, they're going, "You're here?" Yeah. I was doing I think they were doing a sobriety check on New Year's, and I had to go up to a call, and I went by, and they were like, and they were license registration, and I was giving it to them. They go, "Oh, it's you, chaplain." And so I gave them the information. They got me through, and I went back through that. But it was nice to be able to have that recognition with the guys and the girls of our law enforcement.
Yeah, I need them to start doing that for me too. Like,
yeah,
oh,
they don't
Heather
pass me.
also going through.
Oh no, it wasn't that. I still had to go through my process.
No, I understand that, but it'd be cool if they just knew who I was. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're that. Yeah,
that would be
talk
cool
local to me. Yeah.
What if they knew the first name that it was?
I mean, just as long as they know it's Heather.
Okay.
I was like, I mean, I'm good with that. Then Alto.
No.
Call me whatever. What?
No. Is that you on Talk Dirty to Me?
Oh, don't even. You stop. You stop. But so yeah, well, so my uncle is actually a volunteer firefighter for Forest. As well as my cousin, and when I got here, I actually found out. I talked with my mom on the way, and he was down here that day as well. I didn't get to find him and talk to him, but I know a little bit just from talking to them about how hard it is going to some of these calls, and I think people don't realize, because we're not the ones there. It's got to be difficult to see that all the time, to see destruction, or even if it's not death, but just even destruction of people's pride. I'm sure it weighs on them just as much as it does the business owners itself.
It does. I think there's many different levels we have to understand about first responders and their struggle. For example, the officer will go from one call to the next, and they can increase or they can decrease in their intensity.
Right.
So, for example, the officer can go to a domestic violence call, and then they go to a suicide, and then they go to an accident, or it can go down. They can go to a property disagreement. They can go to a violation of restraining order. None of them are all lesser, but all of them could easily, from one point to the next, escalate to any of those others.
Right.
And so they have to think on their feet, and they have to be prepared. But it's a non-stop thing. What I kind of give people majority of the time is when we sit in our offices, we can have active days and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then we can have lulls. Police officers and firemen have lulls, but they're broken by extreme. So they'll have a lull for an hour, and then call, and they're always built, and then they decrease, and then they build, and they have high adrenaline runs back and forth, back and forth. They have to be willing to do things that most of us would kind of go, you're good, you can do that.
Yeah.
They go into. I was in a call once. I won't say where, but I was in a call once where the officer was driving with me, and we were going to place, and apparently there was a call for machinery that was being stolen. And so the officer was in the call. He took 5 seconds to say, "Stay here." He was out the car running towards where the vehicle was driving away. And then you had car of cops showing up because they were stealing heavy machinery equipment.
Right.
And so they had to stop that. And so they have to think on their feet. They have to react instinctively, and they have to look and consider the circumstances. So all he could get to me was stay here, and he's gone.
Right.
So sometimes we have to consider how much the intensiveness of these calls go, because firemen don't go get cats out of the tree all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't rescue people from being stuck in a building where it's all good. I just need to get them out,
Yeah.
or I'm trapped in my car. Officers don't go and unlock people from their car all the time.
Right.
That's a part of it, but it's not a regular thing.
Mhm.
A regular thing is a 5-alarm fire or a car. I mean, it could be something simple. And they have to watch a family who lost everything, and they have to figure out ways to try to help them and deal with that reaction. There are things that they probably will never share that have intensity in smells and sights and sounds and things that affect them in their job.
Mhm.
And so to be able to process that makes a difference if they are able to talk about it. And so, you reaching out to your family and having that discussion option makes all the difference. But not everybody has that and has that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm trying not to. So, and again, I think I talked about this last week, and I don't know if it wasn't when you were on with me. But my family had to go through a lot of that. I lost my brother in a house fire, and I feel like my uncle. The crazy thing was when I called him, he didn't know about the call, but I think he's always felt bad because he didn't go to the call. You know what I mean? Because he was, I think he kind of almost feels like, was there something he could do if he could have gotten there?
Right.
Too. Or, but you're right that it's little things, that can set you off that you don't even know. Like even for me, like just recently they put my brother's house back on the market
Right.
after they finished. And I thought, oh, okay. So I'm just looking through the Zillow, and like, it just hits me because all I see is burnt rooms because that's all I saw. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was weird because I thought I'd be okay just looking through it. I was not okay just looking through it. And I'm sure
And
that's kind of the
psychologically,
same
we
things
think
they
those
have.
things.
Right. So I'm sure that they have those same things, and you just don't know what will trigger
Right.
a need for somebody to just talk to.
Well, I mean, let's put it in comparison this way. An officer or a rescue professional goes to a call, and a child has drowned in a lake,
Mm-hmm.
or passed away from SIDS,
Mhm.
or who knows what.
Right.
And then they go home and they have kids that are same age.
Mm-hmm.
You see that comparison and that struggle because they just saw this,
Right. Oh,
and
yeah.
that tries to work with their connection to there. Just
Mhm.
like you're bringing up images,
Mhm.
they have to. It's hard for any of us with work. I mean, Heather, you work hard at the organization, and you do lots of things, and sometimes that stuff comes home with you. Sometimes it's a
Mhm.
good thing, sometimes
Yeah.
it's a stressful
Oh, yeah.
thing, but their stuff is a lot of stressful things.
Oh yeah, it's nothing compared to what I bring home.
And
Yeah,
so
they've got all
that
the baggage.
that
Yeah.
that baggage of that goes home with them, and sometimes they can process because they compartmentalize. It's called resiliency.
Mhm.
To compartmentalize in their mind a way to not rationalize it, but help them break it down and process it.
Mhm.
But then sometimes you just can't, because it could be one right after another.
Mhm.
But what they usually try to teach, in the academy is, kind of like the Marines. You can take this, you're Superwoman, you're Superman, and we got this. And so they throw it in their bucket, and
Right.
that bucket goes back there. And after a while, it's this suicide, it's this house burning down, it's
Mhm.
this accident. And after a while, if they don't empty it out, eventually it will bubble out.
Mhm.
And if it bubbles out, it's just like a soda can. When you take the lid off the top of it, it didn't just kind of fizz. It just goes everywhere,
Yeah.
and it gets involved in everything. So it can be involved at home, it can be involved at work, it can be involved. They have trouble going to a place there because it's, we have trouble just going by. Last place we had an accident that we
Yeah.
got out of, and we remember it.
Mhm.
You know, and they, every place is okay, that was this was that, there was this, I remember that house burned down. They remember these things,
Mm-hmm.
and to process it requires sometimes someone they can talk to that no one else will ever hear about it, and that's the beauty of chaplaincy. Ordained ministers, we're protected, so we can discuss. Now, I still have to talk about the big stuff. So if they're going to hurt themselves, I have to make sure that somebody can get them help, and they can
Right.
go a little further if they're hurting, if their kids are being hurt. Not them hurting their kids, but if their kids are being hurt.
Right.
Like if
So you're still a mandated reporter.
still changes
Yeah.
that. If they're, injury of some kind of threat, you have to have that line. But if I'm processing something and I can't get over it, I'm losing sleep, but I'm seeing nightmares of that face because I couldn't save them.
Mm-hmm.
They have somebody they can talk to, and it doesn't shake it. As you've realized, crisis scars us, but it doesn't remove it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn to process it.
Right.
And by learning to process it means the next time I see the house come up for sale, I'm not going to see those images. Maybe I might see some, or I may just have a uneasy feeling, but I don't have all that stuff running through my mind. It's a process, and that takes time. It's the same thing as when we deal with a loss. I mean, somebody loses a loved one, they're not just jumping up and going, "Oh, I'm ready to go. Everything's great." They're not that. But any kind of loss that we feel or anything tied to that affects us.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like one of the songs that we played at my brother's funeral. I can't listen to still, like I don't like to, but it came on one day on the radio, and my husband went to change it because he knew, he knew, and so I was like, no, leave it for a minute. I was like, I felt like if I could just get through a few minutes of it,
Right,
then that was a step forward.
Mhm.
Didn't listen to the whole thing, but I got through a few bars, and I was like, okay, and then maybe next time I'll listen to the chorus. We'll see, where we get. But I think that's kind of what you're saying a little bit, is just
it's processing it,
taking the baby steps and
Of course.
getting there. Yeah.
and the key is acknowledging it. I think if we push down pain, or we push down things that are that upset us, what happens? It just bubbles out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get it out and process it, because that allows us to heal.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we see in Scripture that tells us is that we're meant to have people around us. We're not supposed to be isolated. What happens when we isolate? Now, that's why COVID was such a big thing, is because people were isolating, and who were they talking to? So that's why Zoom went up, because everybody could talk to people, at least on the screen. But we're creatures of being able to talk this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be, there's a lot of things that you got to have. It's connections.
Yeah.
If I, as a chaplain, going to the calls, talking with law enforcement, talking with fire and rescue, and building that relationship with them, I see their world.
Mm-hmm.
I see the things they see. They can open up to me because, I've seen that. Yeah, I've talked about that. It's not just me just throwing out a scripture or a Bible verse,
Mm-hmm.
or an anecdote, or God loves you. It's listening to them, because really that's what it's about. It's a ministry of presence. Me saying, I'm here if you want to talk, but if you don't, it's okay.
Yeah.
And, I ride in the cop cars with them. So I get my bulletproof vest on, and I'm riding in the police cars. I'm going to the fire stations. I go to the calls with them, and I stand around, and I could get hurt, but the only way that I can get into their world is to be in it.
Right. Do you ever work with any of the like the 911 call center employees that have to maybe sometimes hear some really, distressful type situations and things like that? Do you work with them as well?
Every time I go to the station, I check in with them.
Okay, cool.
All the time. So within this ministry, anyone who deals with first responders or that kind of world,
Mm-hmm.
I touch base with them.
Okay.
Even if they're working at the sheriff's office and they're doing the administration, they see the hurt of the other people, and their family. They're tight.
Mm-hmm.
They're really close to each other. They look out for each other. They support each other, and it's important. So when one of their families hurting, just like any of our family would be hurt,
Mm-hmm.
we hurt for them. And so they want to be able to share in that. Maybe I didn't experience it directly, but hey, I feel that. And so I open myself up to them as well. But the 911 dispatchers have a difficult place because they set the call up and they don't know what happens, or they hear the aftermath, but they're not sure exactly. Okay, I know they're going to the hospital. Did they live? Did that fire? I know the fire get put out. How bad was it? They don't know until they see it on the news or they see it in the thing, and not all of them are reported.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of that anxiety that goes with that. So I just check in with them. Hey, how you guys doing? What can I pray for you guys about? And I just check in every time I go in and say hi, and I spend a little time with them.
Mm-hmm.
But they know they can call me as well, and I make sure that we as chaplains are available for them as well.
What areas do you cover? I know Bedford. Do you
Correct.
have you expanded out of the Bedford area yet, or is that something you're hoping to do
Hoping
as
to
the
do.
nonprofit continues to grow?
Hoping to do.
Okay.
So right now it is the town, the county, and working on fire and rescue. And there's some things in the fire that are working goes a little bit beyond that. I'm based center around here,
Okay.
but the goal of the organization is always to make sure that there is one chaplain who is dedicated, focused, and always available into those stations, those precincts, those areas.
Okay.
If it's not me and it's somebody else, that's fine. But I'm here to make sure that my resources of my nonprofit make that available for them,
Okay.
because it's it's a difficult job, but the other half of it is not everybody wants to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not everybody wants to be a police officer. Not everybody wants to be a fireman
Mm-hmm.
or a rescue or 911. So it's an equally select group. And so my struggle when I started out is how do you do this? And I got crickets. I don't know. Most of them usually fall. I'm either a minister who's doing it on the side, or I'm retired and I'm doing it. I mean, that was the only two options they had. So the nonprofit was established because there has to be an in between, because there's very few chaplaincies out there that are actually paid by the department or are available. And some of them, I think Roanoke has one in their, as far as my knowledge, in their fire department, but others, no. I know most law enforcement don't have that, unless I think Chicago does. I know New York does, but there are a lot of places that may, but most of them are all volunteer capacity.
Okay.
And especially in this rural area, see, it's easier in a bigger city. You can get one and it just kind of maxes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But when it gets into rural, where you got police here and sheriff's over here and the county fire over here, and you got this town over there, and it's kind of hard to get that together. So if we can create a basis where people can just go and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of this organization, and then can you help me train to be a chaplain and do that full time?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's what our prayer is. And
Okay.
so I always hope to try to see that happen.
Right. So we're almost out of time today, but I do want to ask real quickly though, because you are a nonprofit. How can people help support you and be able to let you continue to do the services you're doing?
It's a good question. So as a nonprofit, there are several ways. One, you can always lift us up in prayer. You can always share anything you have on Facebook. That's a great thing. But let's be real honest. Nonprofits go based on financial support.
Right.
So financial support is the most important. Monthly is a big need for the organization. So you can go online at coveredchaplaincy.org, and they have a donation button that you can click and fill out your information and submit that, and you'll get a tax donation from it. We have several monthly supporters that do that, one-time supporters as well. Or you can send a check if you want to P.O. Box 1390. Bedford, Virginia, of course, extension to Covered Chaplaincy. Zip code's 24523. I always have to keep thinking that in my head. And there's ways that you can support. But the other thing is if you're a business organization and you see this guy in a black shirt that says chaplain in the front of it, and he says, hey, can you help me with this event or this situation? Consider donating some time. There's a lot of organizations here in Bedford. When I do the Centerfest, and we provide a meal for all the officers there, all the ones that are rotation, they come in, they eat. A lot of organizations around here support my supplies and food for that.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways you can support, and best bet is, hey, let your church know.
Yeah.
If you're a church, or hey, you know what, this is something my church should know about it. Go on our website, get the information, pass it along to your church, let them review that. I mean, I have churches support me, I have individuals support me, I have business support me. It takes all to make a difference. And the thing that I implore about this support is you're not just supporting me, but when I go to the officers, when I go to the firemen and say, your community values you, and they go, how is that possible? Well, they're supporting me and any other chaplain we have to be here for you and supply services for you, your family, and the community. That makes a big difference in the long run. So you're not only just simply riding in the car with me or supporting me being a part of that, but you're giving encouragement, support to them to let them know that, hey, folks care.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all that you do to support the community. And if you're out there and you want to support, please find one of those 3 ways or all of those 3 ways to help them be able to kind of help our first responders. I will quickly mention before we go, we did mention Sister to Sister Catering here in the town of Bedford that had a loss, as well as the building next to her, Peaceful Alternatives. They had damage to their buildings as well. So let's not forget Will and his business. But I know there's a GoFundMe page out there for Helen if anyone wants to help. She just a little overwhelmed right now. So anything you can offer for her and her family is going to be greatly supported. Big thank you to Lowe's of Bedford. We did reach out to them last week. She had needed plywood to put up in her building, and they donated that to us for her. So big thank you to them and to anyone who's brought them food and everything. I know that Helen has been greatly appreciative. So we will be back next Wednesday to talk local to you again with some new guests. And until then, have a great weekend.